Hey guys, and welcome to Valley Strange. Today you're going to be listening to a segment from our Satanic Bible episode of our Books of the Strange series. This one's covering the topic of Anton Lavety. So I hope you enjoy the episode. If you do like it, please like and subscribe and follow all of our social medias here. And enjoy the episode.
Anton Lavety, born April 11, 1930 in Chicago, Illinois, to a Russian father and Ukrainian mother. He was a musician versed in the ways of the keyboards. Such as the pipe organ, Calliope, yeah. There you go. See another one there for you.
Play the keys.
Looks like a toy pipe organ on wheels. Yeah, that's like right up.
Stop touching me.
That's right up here.
God damn it!
I'm just
not
like,
a part of your bit.
Smash him on the other.
Yeah.
I'm just like rolling. Like you and Lavety could have been friends, bro. Like playing all these organs and shit. Like,
Right. Yeah.
you would have come over and been like, "Can I dabble?"
We could have been right.
And come on, you thought about running away to the circus.
maybe I finally get a job.
Well, there you go.
Why don't you laugh at that? Fuck you guys. No.
Smite him.
Never get a job in the circus. Fucking crickets.
Because none of that sounded right.
God damn it.
And regarding his keyboard talents, this would be a source of income for him later by playing in bars, lounges, nightclubs on Saturday nights and tent revival Sunday morning. And I can attest to this, that I kind of did the same thing as far as like, not necessarily playing in bars or anything like that, but like partying the night before and then going to play in a praise and worship band or a
yeah.
church. You know,
I did that.
Totally hungover. Yeah.
I play bass. Fuck yeah.
There you go. So there you go. Like, that's how we're relating to Anton Lavety here.
I think I remember when you used to go driving off San Benito on those.
No, it was like Westico.
Oh, it's Westico.
All of our hanging out nights and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, guys, I gotta go to bed because I gotta be at church in the morning. Going in there with like a fucking headache, completely dry mouth. We gotta learn this new song. Let's praise the Lord.
Go, Jesus, go. Feel the JC spirit.
Lavety was a fan of pulp fiction and other dark literature. Another thing that kind of relate to.
Yeah, there's a lot of dark humor in this.
Other jobs that he had that aren't necessarily.
None of it's substantiated.
Yes, there you go.
That people can tell. Like people have like dug in and tried to like find out like whether he actually was like a police a crime scene photographer.
Yeah. And also a psychic investigator for police.
For the police, yeah.
Which is
But
funny.
Oh, yeah.
never a pay stub was found though. No
Yeah.
record of him ever working for the San Francisco Police
Yeah.
Department. Like
Psychic investigator, photographer for the police
Plausible
department.
deniability. Gotta give him cash.
Just general photographer, a hypnotist. He also appeared in a children's show that was called Buzz, the Brother Buzz Show. I don't recall exactly his role in it, but I mean, he seems like a child character, you know.
Yeah.
He had a pet lion, a Nubian lion, which is fucking crazy.
Fuck yeah.
Wait, a Nubian? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Pet Nubian lion, yeah. Was it
From Naboo.
Togar? Okay. That all this information is like in the preface of the fucking
I got you though.
the Satanic Bible. So if you want to like basically all the information I'm giving you right now is from the very beginning, giving you a bit of a run through of who Anton Lavety is.
So I thought Gilmore's introduction was abusive until goddamn, what was that one podcast you and I both were talking about where that one guy like did a live reading of the Satanic Bible for like a podcast episode?
Oh, it's just on YouTube, right?
No, I found it on Spotify.
Right. Shit.
Which I had to turn off after the first like.
It's funny because like I don't remember it because I also turned it off too.
Yeah, because as soon as he started reading the book, he just started just like screaming at certain points, you know, like going through like the 9 satanic statements, and he just put all this like crazy emphasis and energy into.
Oh.
And he was just like, and so I'm just sitting there listening to my car and like, you know, windows are down because I'm kind of cheap and don't like to pay for AC all the time.
You're becoming a method actor all of a sudden.
I have my volume up pretty loud, and then I have to like keep fucking with my volume in the car because he's breaking my eardrums.
Guy didn't compress his audio.
But the preface from the book that he read, I can't remember who composed that, but I think that was a 1974 edition of the Satanic Bible. And that one, repetitive, long-winded, and I wanted to kind of kill myself.
So it's just like the
listening to it.
Bible, right?
Now you're talking like have there been revisions like in this one that we have here?
There's
Oh.
been no edits to LaVey's work or like the core Satanic Bible, but
Right.
different people have written prefaces for it.
Oh, okay.
And so the preface we got is from the current magus of the
Okay.
Satanic Church.
That's right, because basically,
Peter
if you
Gilmore.
if you read this, you can read the same thing on the website as well.
Yes.
No, nothing in here. I mean, like if you look at the copyright, it's pretty plain. There's no like
Right.
second editions or anything like that.
Going back to his jobs,
far as I
he
can
was he says he has a stint in the circus where he was
Where he
a
got the
cage
line.
boy,
Cage boy,
a musician,
which I think was just like picking up like shit.
Probably.
yeah, in the cages. Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like good kitschy.
They took the shovel out the shit.
And he also had like an act with cats. I'm assuming is why he could have like a fucking lion.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Well, this was also the fucking 60s,
Yeah,
so there's probably like
so-
some weird like loophole that he found in the bylaws for like what it was you could have as a fucking pet. Because
Well, didn't like Mike Tyson have a fucking like? Did he have a lion at some point? Like a real lion, like not from the fucking movie itself.
No.
I
I
forget
don't
what it's
know.
called.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Hangover.
He's done a lot
Hangover.
of weird shit.
But I was could have sworn that he actually had one.
it's like I don't know if you can like have big cats if you're not a fucking like zoo or nature reserve like
Or the Tiger King.
or fucking loaded. Yeah, right, like the Tiger King. Yeah, which. Goddamn, it was like the third time that I've invoked that fucking stupid bullshit.
Still haven't
Like,
watched
the
it.
last week, and I still haven't seen it.
Nope, never gonna. Fuck that.
That's pretty much most of his jobs. Again, unsubstantiated stuff. We're only
Yeah.
getting the word from Anton Lavety and his current Church of Satan head. Again, we said that the Church of Satan was founded in 1966 on the night of May Eve,
Walpurgis Night.
which is Sabbath,
yes.
aka year 1, Anno Satanas, the first year of the age of Satan.
Walpurgis Nacht.
I feel like we should say it with more gusto. You want to give it a try? Anno Satanas? Satanas?
Anos Satanas.
Something like that, yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, we need that guy from the podcast who didn't compress his audio to come and do it. Because I think he would have done real justice to that. God damn that guy.
He made a few albums and single releases according to Spotify. I'm only basing on what I could find on Spotify, which is the Satanic Mass of
Did you listen
1968.
to any of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I listened to
It was-
Satanic Mass.
Yeah.
It's basically, I'm
was
actually,
kinda fun.
I'll probably like throw in a clip here because it's just him like really reverbing on his like his vocals and stuff, reading off something, and it just sounds very ominous. And Satan Takes a Holiday came out in 1995, according to Spotify.
And that's some weird music.
Yeah, Chain Dragger and the musical Mephisto, 2018, and Hymn of the Satanic Empire, which came out in
Sounds like
2009. But that is again, that's released on Spotify. Those could have been like releases.
These all sound like the names of
I
like.
think that they're like re-releases.
I think the
Probably.
95 release may have been him proper
Okay.
because he died in 97.
Right.
And I don't know how
He had
he
to
died.
get his last musical fucking
Foray.
yeah. This guy.
His last musical
died,
hurrah.
Yeah, died October 29, 1997. Of course.
Kind of sucks they didn't just hang on for 2 more days because that'd have been perfect.
Yeah, right.
Because then he could have shared a death day with, or at least death anniversary with Sean Connery and MF Doom. And
There you go.
Hmm.
All the greats. he would have snuck in there.
just,
But how fitting that would have been to die on fucking
Yeah, fuck
Halloween,
yeah.
right? In 1980, he said, he was dubbed the Black Pope by the press and his followers.
Oh yeah.
He didn't seem to really like
Give a shit.
give a shit whether or not he was labeled the Black Pope or not, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he just found it amusing. Regarding that interview that we saw on YouTube, seems like a
didn't look
pretty
like
chill
he
guy.
fucking cared at all.
as he
Yeah.
gets, he
Yeah,
gets
he
constantly ribbed and he just kind of like smiles. And he even has, some dry humorous remarks, making fun of himself
Yeah.
in certain respects or in certain regards. And,
Oh yeah, when they were asking him about whether he'd been declawed yet, he's like,
oh no, they were talking about his lion.
yeah, they were talking about his lion. And,
Yeah, but then he like
he
says
asked,
like, have you
he's
been
like,
like,
is the,
declawed?
has the lion being declawed? And he's like, have you? And he's like, well, no, not yet, or something like that. You know.
In 1980, the FBI interviewed LaVey in connection with an alleged plot to murder Ted Kennedy, which was strange, and to which LaVey told investigators that most of the church's followers were fanatic cultists and weirdos. That's funny.
Fuck yeah.
And that his main interest in the Church of Satan was monetary. He spent most of his time furnishing interviews, writing, and photography. Again, died October 29th, 1997.
Well, and he also did a bunch of lectures as well, not just on Satanism, but also on goddamn, like basically if there's like a fringe weird religion, like he talked about Vodun, he talked about like West African traditions, like all sorts of shit, and just like if it was like offbeat, he apparently knew a lot about it and would lecture on it, and it was pretty cool. And he also would basically take kind of like donations or kind of like sliding scale fees for just like kind of like priestly consultations. You know, you go in, talk to your pastor or whatever, but you're not chucking him a few bucks, but you're doing that with LaVey.
I'm pretty sure there was plenty of people who wanted to get his some time with him.
Oh hell yeah, you know.
I know at some point fucking Marilyn Manson had his little time with Anton Lavety too. I don't recall his thoughts on Marilyn Manson or vice versa, but I should look that up. But I didn't. So, anything else regarding Anton Lavety that you all want to throw in?
I do, and it's gonna kind of like segue into the text itself, like those like kind of the shit that like philosophically underpinned his stuff. You got Friedrich Nietzsche with the concept of like the Superman, the Ubermensch, where it's all about got to pull it up because I'm going to cheat with my little notes. Here we go. It's all about, dudes having like the drive for self-achievement and self-fulfillment, which is kind of cool. Nietzsche's been abused by some very crazy people.
Yep.
I just want to go back to also David Goggins, Jocko Willenick, and Jordan Peterson because that's basically the same thing. But continue.
Yeah. And we also have
Nietzsche was bastardized.
Social Darwinism really was a play, but he took out a lot of the bigoted elements from social Darwinism. But basically, it was just like hey, there's kind of like there's the weak and there are the strong, and the strong have the right and the ability to enjoy that and keep their boots pressed on the necks of the weaklings because the weak deserve it essentially.
Right.
But he didn't tie it into this is why like white people have like modern capitalistic and societies and steamboats and shit like early social sciences did, which if you ever want to go into the history of like the social sciences, it gets wild. And you cited on your document that Ragnar guy who wrote like basically
the Right is Might. Yeah,
Right is Might, like one of the huge books that I think, I'm not sure when it was written in the scale, but you also have Herbert Spencer, who was a sociologist, I believe, who was also like a social Darwinist. I believe he's the guy who came up with the organic analogy where he talked about how like society is akin to like the parts of the body or whatever, and everything has a function and side tangents.
The Right is Might.
The Victor Lee Spoils history is written by the.
They were saying like according to the good people and scholars at Wikipedia that basically LaVey took the Might is Right and kind of just took out all the fucking racism and anti-Semitism and misogyny, and then like this is what you get.
Because basically it was just like a colorless, cultureless, regionless. There's just you have those that can conquer and will conquer and should conquer, and those that can, will, and should be conquered. But he didn't tie it to any, ideology or anything like that. And then you also have Ayn Rand with Objectivism, and I actually have read a couple of her books. It's great when you're kind of lost and you're trying to figure out like what's going on and like, wait a minute, I could still be a creative person. And
or you just finished a Rush album or something.
Yeah, or you finished Rush album. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Yeah, Rush fucked with Randian concepts, I guess. Fuck, I love Rush.
Rush is great.
But Objectivism, as I stole from the scholars of Wikipedia, because I just was not going to go find another copy of Atlas Shrugged or The Fountainhead and go through those again, because
Fuck that.
I pitched those a long time ago. But Objectivism just can be summed up as the concept of a man as a heroic being, with his own happiness as the moral purpose of his life, with productive achievement as his noblest activity, and reason as his only absolute. So with that, tying into LaVey, and he said it in interviews and people when they talk about him and his development of Satanism, it's Ayn Rand's philosophy punched up with ritual and dogma.
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to really get into the nitty gritty of this because I got lost really quick and would have needed to read other source materials. But to get into John Dee, who was a court magician, astrologer dude for was it Queen Victoria?
Right. Was it Queen Victoria?
No, Elizabeth the First.
Yeah, Elizabeth. Yeah.
He was a hermetic scholar, philosopher dude, and he's the guy who developed the Enochian keys. And then I try to get into like Hermeticism, and that stuff gets really messy, really fucking fast. And even the scholars of Wikipedia could not really help me just wrap my head easily around this. Did I mention the fact that John Dee was like a magician as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know that much about hearing that guy's name from before, but aside from that, I've never actually tried looking at anything about John Dee. He just sort of strikes me as another Crowley, Aleister Crowley
He
character.
kind of is. He kind of is.
There's a lot of he's like a stage man or whatever, a showman. Excuse me.
And didn't John Dee get invoked by our good old friend Bill Bradley, or Bramley rather, in Gods of Eden? Because like the succession of magicians and so forth that got into the courts and tried to influence matters or whatever.
Probably,
No,
he probably.
Or I might
remember
be just conflating him with like the other like Scottish court magicians that popped in throughout history just randomly.
It could be a coincidence, but I do remember him mentioning something about court magicians and stuff. I don't remember if it
Yeah,
was,
but I'm not sure if John Dee came up
He's one of those famous ones though. Like that's. I mean, it's a short list or whatever of folks. Like that's why I was asking. Like, okay, is he like another?
But yeah, but I just got
John
I
Dee
got all
fucking-
fucked up with this, because of course not just reading this, doing the internet dives, but also just listening to podcasts on the subject. And one critique I want to level at most of the podcasts, and this just because LaVey was a fascinating character, but when people want to talk about like, oh, we're talking about like Satanism and like LaVey and Satanism specifically, they'll spend 45 minutes just talking about fucking LaVey himself and really not talk about. They'll maybe list off a few of the satanic, maybe the nice satanic statements and shit like that, but beyond that, they don't really address LaVey and Satanism, and they'll usually jam it in with Satanic Temple stuff and other Aleister Crowley.
Kind of just lumping Satanism as a broad term.
Yeah, and they just go left-hand path stuff.
Yeah, but they're all very different.
Yes.
Yeah. As we'll again find out in just a moment.
And we'll get into this a little later, but I do find it fascinating that he seems to draw from Aleister Crowley, but he also has some kind of shade to cast at him as well.
I think I marked the pages where he does talk about Anton Lavety. I'm sorry, Aleister Crowley, but it's very brief. Like
I don't remember that at all. I'd have to look for that.
Because he brings up the OTO. He also brings up I believe it's Mathers, the Golden Dawn, and then Crowley.
Remember
Crowley's organization, the OTO, which I can never remember the goddamn Latin for it. Ordo Templi.
I don't
bullshit.
Yeah. I won't try and touch the pronunciations of those.
Yeah, you don't want to get pulled. You don't want to summon the devil, Ray. It's okay.
Yeah, random mispronunciations can summon the wrong demons.
Ray, we can't allow you to become too powerful.
But yeah, I guess that does kind of cover just some of the very, very lacklusterly kind of touches on some of like the stuff that LaVey was drawing from. I really should have taken more time and just relearning some of the stuff on objectivism.
But the one thing we do about Books of the Strange that we are trying to do is take the source directly from the book only. And granted, there are some things that they may mention that might warrant an outside definition or something.
Right.
But in this case, we try to just take all the philosophy from here and just break it down just from our own base knowledge, as if someone who's reading it for the first time and doesn't have too much information on anything else that would allow for some extra depth.
I had so many tabs open, even though just trying to keep within the realms of this,
yeah.
But I still just got nuts with tabs, like just.
Yeah, I kind of like shrunk them down here on my computer. I had like a shit ton of stuff open too, but then again, I just put links on the documents and just.
How many times have you read this, Ray?
Twice-ish.
Oh yeah. How long have you had a copy of the book? Or did you
I've only got a
almost-
copy this time around, man. Like,
Oh.
this is the first time I read it was now.
Yeah.
Whenever I decided to wanted to do this, and again, since I wanted to read this for a long time, I felt this was the reason to do that. And as many times as you see, or as I see, certain folks come in asking for this book in my current profession. They seem very excited, and like they
looking
handle
around,
the
they're
book
looking-
with such delicacy. Like
They're looking over their
like
shoulders.
if they
and
open it,
stuff.
like the shit, like demons are just gonna fucking fly
Yeah,
out of this
right.
book, you know.
Jesus
Also,
is
they're the
gonna
ones who are
appear
drawing
right
the
next to him.
pentagrams, you know, like the white light magicians that LaVey makes fun of.
Yeah. I mean, again,
yeah,
you look at this, you automatically think that there's something inside that you shouldn't be reading. One thing we do with Books of the Strange is to like demystify a lot of this some of this stuff, because a lot of it's just nonsense.
I
Some
was
of
gonna
it's
say you almost said
some
nonsense.
like I won't say nonsense. A lot of it is I would say the
Gobbledygook.
fear that people have is
Gibberish.
nonsense. Like you shouldn't be like, it's just a book, you know. Like
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it's
And-
books written by people.
yeah, you just want to
These people take shits. There you go.
there's a lot of
Humanized.
superstition that people have, just like even looking at this book, you know.
Yeah,
And-
absolutely. When Orly and my brother and I were kids, he had I don't know if I ever told you, he had a poster of like a Wolverine comic or whatever up
I
on
thought you were
his
gonna say
door.
Anton Lavety. I was like, really? What the fuck?
No, it was a
man?
flag. No, he had like a poster of Wolverine up on his room door. And I just remember one day we came home from school and like it was torn off, and we were like, "What's going on?" And our mom was like, "Oh yeah, I got rid of it. I got rid of that poster." And we're like, "Well, why?" Because he looked like a demon, like it's just a guy with a fucking hairy ass, you know, like, and a mask. So yeah,
I don't want any freaks on the fucking wall.
yeah, exactly. Not in this house. So I mean, yeah, like people are still. I mean, that was, again, we were children, but all the same, like I still hear that from family or whatever.
If you were to start off someone with this book by reading like the magic portions, then they might freak out a little bit. You know?
Most people that know a little bit about the Satanic Bible know that it's got nothing to do about.
But most people don't.
yeah,
That's
I don't
the
know.
thing.
I wouldn't say
Well,
most
again,
people.
like I said, anybody that knows anything about it, like even just a little bit, knows that it's not about devil worship or whatever necessarily.
But I mean, but those.
But then again, yes, like you said, most people don't know
people-
shit, so.
It's not about devil worship, but people don't understand
It's
why
about
the
devil
word
empowerment.
satanic is in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And
It's-
they don't
it's
realize
mostly
it's
just a big joke.
just to fuck with you. You know, like it's
Yeah.
just to mess
This
with.
is like a religion about about trolling other religions.
amongst other stuff. But I mean,
In
we'll
a
get to it.
serious adult way, you know, that must be taken seriously.
Hey guys, what are your thoughts on Anton Lavety's ideas that he poses in the Satanic Bible? Do you agree with him? Do you disagree with him? Tell us what you think. Leave a comment below. Like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.